Yo, what's up, squad? Welcome back to another fire review of Jujutsu Kaisen. We're diving into chapter 263 today, but before we get into that madness, let's rewind and talk about the crazy stuff that went down in the last chapter. Alright, so last time, we saw Yuji going all out inside Gojo's body, throwing down against Sukuna. It was insane. These two legends weren't holding back at all, both busting out their domain expansions like it was nothing. The clash between their powers was so epic, it caused a massive mess and totally shrunk the barrier. It was like watching two gods fight, with energy flying everywhere, barriers cracking, and chaos just taking over. And then, in the middle of all that chaos, we got a sweet, quiet moment where Rika was cuddling Yuta. That moment was pure gold, a perfect way to wrap up all the action with a little bit of heart. Now that we've had a chance to catch our breath and remember all the epic stuff from last time, it's time to jump into chapter 263. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. So before we dive headfirst into this madness, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you want to keep up with all our Jujutsu Kaisen reviews. We're about to dive deep into the chaos, breaking down every twist, turn, and epic moment in this chapter. Get ready, cause we're hitting the gas and not looking back. Let's go, gentlemens. The chapter starts with an explosion as a small barrier ruptures. We see the bare feet of a guy who turns out to be the king of curses, Sukuna. Sukuna begins questioning himself about whether he pulled it off. Even as powerful as purple is, maybe he's still not fully comfortable using it. Even his own domain got destroyed, he thought. After that, we see the boys sprinting towards Sukuna to kick his ass. Then Tadu calls Yuta, saying, "It doesn't matter if we're caught in the crossfire. The second your technique recovers, drill as many purples into him as you can. We'll avoid it using Boogie Woogie." Immediately after using his domain expansion, Rayaman Sukuna once again falls into a state where his curse technique is painstakingly difficult to use. Meanwhile, we see Yuta taking a nap on the floor, and the boys running towards the big fish. Kijaku's curse technique, copied by Okatsu, has also burned out after using his domain expansion. That's why he's taking a nap on the floor. Before 5 minutes pass, the use of Kenjaku's technique is halted. After that, we see Yuta talking to himself, saying, "Damn it, Rika-chan. Not haunting this body means the copy is no longer making limitless. The burnout technique, I thought I would still be able to use Kenjaku's." He continues, "Was there some trick behind Kenjaku being able to use his technique immediately following a domain expansion? He didn't take any information like that when I copied his technique. I'll at least maintain the barrier for their sake." Yuta realizes he has reached his limits. We see Tadu impressed by Sukuna's power. After that, we see Sukuna land a black flash on Tadu. Yuji sees this and comes from behind to attack Sukuna. Tadu says he is not done hogging the spotlight yet. After that, Yuji lands a punch on Sukuna's face. Sukuna thinks of Yuta's bundle of cursed energy. He still has shards of the floating barrier. Until these shards disappear, there's no greater stage on which Boogie Woogie can shine. After that, we see Yuji circling around Sukuna and putting his hand on his stomach, saying, "Wake up, Fushiguro." He will do it as many times as it takes to get him up. We see Sukuna and dismantle. Sukuna says in his mind that he is selectively choosing the target of his technique. He is firing dismantle after dismantle directly at the barrier between him and Fushiguro's soul. He is making a binding vow to make his strikes more effective at tearing his soul from his body. If he continues these blows, Sukuna screams, "I won't be able to maintain this body, and I'll lose." We see Sukuna hiding his mouth. Sukuna runs away by jumping on the wall, with Yuji following him. Then we see Sukuna jumping in the air. Yuji prepares his grip and lands a punch on Sukuna, but Sukuna dodges it and lands a punch on Yuji, causing him to be thrown away. After that, we see Sukuna talking to himself, saying, "If I simply avoid those blows, they'll have no other moves as effective. If my spare Vibra Slap isn't recognized as my left hand, it won't function. Just one more time." We see Sukuna knowing that there is no swap. In that majestic moment, we see Hana in the air. Sukuna notices her. After that, To-Do comes into view. Even though the binding vow has extended the range of To-Do's technique. After that, we see a flashback, Hana saying, "Our role ends once I dispel Gojo Satoru's seal," and she starts asking about Megumi, looking worried about him. After that, Yuta enters, saying, "Angel Kurusu-san, I'm sorry, but we may have to rely on you in the end. Just as I said earlier, it's perfectly fine for you to stay out of the battle. Even if my domain is destroyed, we'll make sure there is no need to fight. I'd like for you to fire Jacob's ladder as the finishing blow. We'll take an all-or-nothing gamble once more and attempt to split Sukuna and Fushiguro-kun's soul. At the very end, we'll make the most of the strong point of my copy technique," Hana Kurusu says, "a strong point." Then Yuta starts saying, "When dealing with my copy, no one thinks of the original user of the copy technique. For whatever reason, all they think about is what and how many techniques I have in my stock. They don't stop to think of the possibility of the original user with the same technique appearing. Especially for those who know how copy works, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking of it as me taking the technique instead of copying it. The true strength of copy is having two of the same cards in one hand." After that, we see Hana landing maximum output Jacob's ladder on Sukuna. After Hana drops Jacob's ladder on Sukuna, shit's about to hit the fan. Sukuna's gonna react hard. Whether he comes back swinging or starts showing cracks, it's gonna change up the whole game. Yuta and Hana, after pulling off that big move, gotta rethink their next steps quick. This ain't just about the fight anymore. It's gonna shake up alliances, reveal some deep shit about everyone's powers, and maybe mess with their heads a bit too. Expect some serious growth and drama for Hana, Yuta, and the crew. As the story rolls on, this showdown's gonna set off a chain reaction of power plays, trust tests, and messy confrontations that'll keep things wild and unpredictable. In the manga or whatever you're reading, Sukuna's gonna be on edge, maybe even reconsidering his whole approach. Yuta and Hana, they're in for a ride. This move could make or break them, testing their skills and their bonds with each other. And don't forget the fallout. Alliances might shift, secrets could come out, and everyone's gonna be grappling with what just went down. It's not just a battle anymore, it's a turning point that's gonna shape the whole damn story. So buckle up, cause shit's about to get real intense, and you won't wanna miss what happens next. This showdown's gonna be a game changer, stirring up all kinds of drama and action. Sukuna's next move could set off a chain reaction of chaos or reveal vulnerabilities we didn't see coming. Yuta and Hana, they're gonna have to dig deep, maybe face some tough choices about their paths forward.